Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first ever Special Ed Warrior podcast, episode one. So, yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. My name is Will, but online I'm known as Big Linguini, and I'm joined by the wonderful and beautiful, the tattoo Amazon, making her debut, online debut. Really, I think that's true.
Yep, this is my first online debut.
Yeah, probably many more. But
Um,
she's actually.
just
Go
my
ahead.
voice, at least.
Just your voice, yes. But she has a cool avatar, so it's all cool. That's what she looks like in real life. Anyone wants to know exactly what it looks like. So anyway, but let's see. She's gonna be actually partners in this. She's my partner in this channel, Special Education Warriors. And before we do introductions, I want to talk about what Ed Warriors is. And I guess I'll just kind of give a little summary, and then tattoo Amazon can add on. But it's kind of more like a passion project because we want to fight for kids with special needs. We both have experience working in the special education system. Tattoo Amazon still does. She's still working in the public school system. I've been out, but I still want to help kids some way with special needs. And this during that time, we've seen so many kids not get the support they need, and we just want to kind of help the kids and their parents, kind of inform them and just try to change special education for the better.
Yep,
So, you have anything to add? Tattoo. I'm gonna probably just call you tattoo. It's a lot shorter. Tattoo.
that's fine. Um, no, I mean we both have the same mission to make it better. It's pretty sad right now, the situations that we see and we are in regularly. I do feel the need to keep my identity private at this time. Hence my picture up
Your
there.
picture.
But
Yes.
um, do you want me to
You can
introduce
go.
myself
You
or?
can go. You can go first. Let me see if I can make you. I'm still learning how to do this. Let's see. Can I make you spotlight on you? There you go.
Okay, well, just so you know, I am at home and I have a big family, and they, I believe, just arrived home. So there might be children and dogs and
Background.
chickens, and you might hear in the background. But
Okay.
I'm in the backyard, so maybe not. Um, anyway, I've been in the special education field for 15 years, and uh, I have two master's degrees, one in exceptional education and one in uh, applied behavior analysis. The exceptional education, if I ever say it that way, it's also special education. It's the same thing. Um, I've my experience has been a lot with being in the behavior specialist field within the public school system. I've also the types of students that I've worked with are um, all disabilities, a lot of students with autism. Um, I have experienced kindergarten through 12th grade and adults. Um, I've worked in respite care, behavior in home therapy, and all kinds of abilities, like from unable to communicate on their own to highly able to communicate on their own, mobile to immobile, and so on. I'm not sure what else to add.
I was like, that's a lot of information. Your experience. You've been working with, it seems, all of the whole spectrum almost, a whole range of people with disabilities, young and
Yes.
old.
Yes.
And you're
How
good
about
at your
you?
job.
Oh, I don't know
I
about that. I'm
That's
always
true.
learning, still,
Always learning.
always. have something to learn. Always, always.
Always. Oh, that's true. Always learning. Let's see. Can I do
Um,
this?
yeah,
Go ahead.
most of the frustration I have in the field is the lack of knowledge and support that other people have, like the administrators, and because of that, just their um, not stepping forward, not advocating, the lack of knowledge parents have, and because of that, they don't advocate for their child.
Child.
So that's what this, I think, is mostly about, is to help parents
Oh yeah,
understand and how to navigate the IEP system, public school system, the supports that their child are supposed to receive.
definitely. So I guess I can go
Yep,
next. Let's see. What is
your
this?
turn. Tag you.
My turn. Tag. So I switch this way. Okay, there we go. So actually, I showed behind backstage. I showed I made a little timeline to kind of help me out. So let's see. Saw back 2014. I kind of got into subbing because I had to find something after college. I wanted to. I kind of fell into teaching. I thought the sub. I went back and got my teaching certification while subbing. But my first time with kids with special needs was probably 2015. I subbed for an IA, a non-instructional job, so non-teaching, as an ESCIA, and boy, was that something. I started since I was still starting as a sub. I got all dressed up, wearing a shirt and tie and pants and dress shoes like I normally would when I was starting to sub to look good at each job I went to. And that was definitely the wrong outfit for that day. It was a middle school, and the teacher that was there, apparently she told me right away that the IA was the one that was the strict one. She was the more easygoing one, and I had really no idea what ESC was. And so the kids came in. It was a small group of kids, um, probably between sixth and eighth grade, and they seemed like kids, they were just kind of just had some behaviors. One kid though was nice. He was like wanting to be friendly. We had PE first period. He was talking to me, very friendly. But then when we got back, they went on the computers because that's what their agenda was. After that, the rest of the day they just sit in the room on the computers doing assignments. And the one kid that was friendly to me, it was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. All of a sudden, he was cursing at me, being nasty to me. And then the other kids started getting on it, and it just was like way I would learn is more like EBD, which I had tattooed Amazon notes I'm talking about. And there was this fight broke out, and we had to pull the kids out. And then as we were pulling the kids out, one of the other kids all of a sudden had like an emotional breakdown. She took the one student to the office, left me alone with all the other kids, and brought them to the library, which wasn't a good idea because then one of the students eloped from me. It was my first time doing all this. So I asked the librarian to like watch the other kids while I went out of the went out of the media center. I had a walkie, but I didn't know how to use it. Um, Luckily, I was able to find an admin, and they were able to like do a call out for the student, and it got sorted. Then there was a fire, and the fire alarm went off sometime after we all got back in, and we had to go out there. It was like the longest day of my life at that time. This was like it didn't end. So after that, I really didn't want to do ESE again. I was like, I don't know if I want to like work in this environment. But then sometime later, I took a sub job for a PE teacher at another middle school, and it turned out that um, teacher also did adaptive PE, which is for kids with disabilities who can't do regular PE. And it was a better experience than the other middle school. Granted, it wasn't just it was they had like three classes. One was like EBD emotional, and then the other ones were more like autistic. And it was definitely the first time working with students with autism because it was I don't know, to me especially the very low level, the participatory level I hate to say it, but it was like watching like wild animals. It was very bizarre to me for someone who never like interacted with students with autism before, but they were sweet. And for some reason, after that, I started to go back and I worked. I took that job again. I also took IA positions there as a sub in teaching, and they liked me, so I kind of kept going in there when they had no, when they needed somebody. And with that, I kind of started becoming a long-term sub there anyway, filling in for that school all the time. So when I was in a gen ed room, I would be visiting helping out the autistic unit, behavioral unit, I should say, because when this all autism, it was behavioral. And I eventually became an IA in that unit. They asked me to be an IA, and I said yes. I became instructional assistant and worked with those kids, all three levels. Um, for a little while, and then eventually one of the teachers was retiring, and I tried to take her position, and I first didn't get the job. I was turned away, but then last minute, beginning of the 2019 school year, the principal called me saying, "Hey, would you like? Are you still interested?" And I said yes, and then I was teaching there for 4 years as the participatory teacher, working with kids 6th to 8th grade, 11 to 14, with severe autism. So nonverbal, very physical, aggressive, kick, spit, pee, poop, fall poop on you, those type of kids. And it was definitely a learning experience. But I didn't really have any much support. I just had my teammates and a good mentor to kind of help me guide me through everything. And I did that, and after 4 years, I kind of started getting burnt out because there's more and more on my plate, had to wear different hats. So I thought I would decide to go to the private sector, but it turned out the private sector, the grass was as green as I thought. Halfway through the year, I just left, and now decided like I still want to do something, but do I want to do teaching? Is this what I want to do, or do something else to help special needs? So that's where I am today.
So,
Let me put this back.
we realize that not only do educators have oftentimes put in to these environments with very little resources, um, and that is what we want to talk about that, but
Yeah.
also that those children go home to their parents who are overwhelmed, just as overwhelmed, and without understanding how to change their child's behavior and things like that. And so
Yes.
I think it's really important for educators and parents to work together, that there's more resources
More recently, yeah,
available to
district.
us.
Yes, I think more district in particular, yes, needs to help those teachers and parents more too, and
Right.
provide resources. I know as we'll probably get this into another podcast another time, but I know
Right.
working like as an employee for a district, you're kind of tired. You don't really know what to say or do because your job's on the line. So and there's definitely things you can and cannot say or do. They don't like you doing, unfortunately. Um, in these most school districts anyway.
Right. So,
So yeah.
I think this today's podcast, we're going to start from the beginning and
Mhm.
just break down some of the acronyms that are often used in special exceptional education. Um, and maybe some people just don't know what they mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
So,
Yes,
I don't know
I
if you
can.
want to start off with that kind of stuff, or
Yeah, I
if
can
you want.
actually let me share my screen. I'm gonna show it on here. We can talk. Just go
Okay.
down. I found on one side which you can put on. We can put in the description. This is from the Inclusive Schools Network. There's a bunch of them, but I found this one had the most like at least good chunk of terms. But there's so many more terms that we can always talk about at a time. But so next one is accommodations, changes in format, response setting, timing, or scheduling that do not alter in any significant way what a test measures or the comparability of scores.
So, accommodations are I without being able to see what you had written there, but they're what? you think your child or, person with a disability needs in order to learn. So, for instance, and also like during testing situations, but in the classroom, does your child need someone to prompt them to stay on task? Do you think that your child needs more opportunity to move around? Do you think they need, like directions repeated? More time to complete an assignment, um, things like that. They're extra assistance for because of the disability in order to make sure that they're getting the best out of the curriculum. And then for testing, you should also have a lot of those things available to you. Sometimes they don't allow certain accommodations on testing, but
It all depends. And we can
yeah.
we're going to probably do a whole podcast on IEP and accommodations and talk more about specific accommodations because there's definitely a lot. As we both, me and Tattoo can tell you from doing IEPs, there's a bunch of different accommodations, different I guess like sections with different accommodations depending on what um, the child needs.
Right. The
So
biggest thing is that is very important. That is a huge, very important part of the IEP, which is the
these
individual
accommodations,
education plan your
yeah.
child will get when they are diagnosed with a disability that is affecting their learning. Um, and that is something, those accommodations are required by when they're in that IEP, they're required by law. You have to advocate, you have to help your child advocate for himself, make sure that they're getting those accommodations. You can request like a log or a proof that they've been receiving them, so that's just it's a very important piece of the
Yes.
IEP.
And I know depending on the district I'm on, I'm very old. I know sometimes they won't give you like a list of accommodations beforehand. They won't show you the accommodations, so you kind of have to do your own research to kind of see if you want to add any extra ones that maybe the teachers or therapists hasn't like recommend.
Right,
Right. I know that's one of the things like we're not allowed teachers are not allowed to like give the list of like this is because they want to be like a menu because then because in some ways sometimes parents might take advantage of that. Like I want my child wants this, I want my child to have this and that. Check off like a menu, and so usually they don't just show all the accommodations. But if you want to know
yeah.
like, but if you want like specific accommodations, you definitely need to like do your own research too on that. So I guess we'll move on to the next one. Is this one actually is talked about is adaptive physical education. So it's a related service for students with disabilities requiring developmental or with disabilities require developmental or corrective instruction in the area of physical education.
um
So like I said, pretty much it's just it's a PE class
oh,
for
adaptive.
students with disabilities who can't be in the regular who can't do
They don't
regular
have
phys-
physical, yeah.
yeah, physical education can't be with the regular kids for many reasons, right? Not just behavior, but they might not be able to do certain activities. So they have their own class with curriculum set up for them, so they can still have the PE
Right.
class. I think
Excuse me.
that sums it up. Okay, she's fine. She's a brave one. She's fighting a cold, but she still decided to come on. So I'm very happy to have her here. Yeah. So you can't see this, right? So I'll just read it.
It's just very small. I could
Okay.
try my glasses. Okay, my reading glasses are helpful. So, it's like magnifying glasses.
So next one, I'll leave, and I'll have you actually talk more about because this is actually more your specialty. So adaptive behavior, ability of individual to meet the standards of personal independence as well as social responsibility, appropriate for his or her chronological age and culture group.
Right. So just meaning that it's appropriate behavior for the age. So a lot of our kids that we work with, their behavior is kind of like a toddler, I would say in some cases, where because of the difficulty with communication and the lack of education in with the parents, lack of resources, things like that, the child was not able to receive the appropriate like skills to learn to communicate in the way that they can. You know, because obviously they have a disability, they will not be able to communicate like you or I. But there are ways to communicate. So then their behavior will change. So they might hit for things or cry for things or um, run away, you know, all of those not age appropriate behaviors. Do you have anything that I don't know if I'm saying
I
what
get what you're saying. Active behavior, so it's like the definition says the behavior that you would want them to have, that's appropriate behavior. So like you said, if they're instead of crying for something, to be able to actually, if not non-verbal, for example, be able to like have some form of communication to tell them what they need, tell someone what they need instead of crying or being
right,
aggressive, and hitting someone to get what they want.
right. And then also um, I think with parents and educators, a lot of times people will just give the child something even though they probably shouldn't have it at that time to avoid those behaviors, and they start doing that at a young age, and that causes behavior problems later in life as the child gets bigger, which becomes more dangerous for people. So, you know, that is a big area of need for resources and for help for parents, especially, you know, at the very early ages.
Yes. And the next one is what we're trying to be, and also trying to get more people to be, is advocate, the person who represents, provides support to children with disabilities and or their parents. So it's pretty
Right.
much
And that,
self-explanatory.
right. And a lot of times people think that it has to be a lawyer, and it does not have to be a lawyer. Just somebody that has knowledge about, you know, the laws and the support that the child should get in the public education field. And so they can go to an IEP meeting with you and help you make sure your child has the accommodations and, you know, needs that they need met.
Yes. So yeah, it could be a family member, a friend. It could be a bunch of people. It doesn't have to be a fancy guy or girl in a suit.
Exactly.
Could be
Doesn't
good
have
education.
to pay $1
Um,
million.
a company, yes, anything like that. So next is, which is kind of, again, this one kind of makes sense, is but age and majority. So age 18, the age at which special education parental rights and procedural safeguards, which we both kind of forgot about the term, we just remembered it recently, transfer from the parent to the child with disability unless a conservatorship is made. I think I said it right. This must be addressed by IEP team prior to age 18.
The
So
age of the majority, is that what you said?
yes, that's when the whites are transferred over to the child,
Oh,
parent to the
yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Unless something, unless I'm not sure what it is, but that's I would say it's unless there's prearranged plans are made instead. I guess if the child's not
It's
able to take care of themselves.
right. So you definitely have to make sure you're um you're doing all of those things because when the child turns 18, they're considered an adult, and you want to make sure you're still there to be their advocate if they're unable to, and support system and caregiver if
Yes.
they're unable to do that themselves.
And like it says, it must be addressed by EP teams. That's the most of the people at the school. So usually they would get that all set up before. If they knowing the child, as long as they've known them, that they'll be able to, I'm sure, hopefully get that together
Yeah, they're
before they turn
required.
18. They're required before 18. So they'll be able to help with that. Plus the IEP team.
Right.
So the next one is alternate assessment. So it's a test designed for a small number of students with severe disabilities who cannot participate in the regular state standardized testing and reporting system. It is a means of including students with the most significant disabilities in the state's assessment and accountability program.
So that's the assessment that they give to kids that are not allowed to take the standardized test. So, like, usually kids that they call they're on the Access Points curriculum, which is, a different type of standards that they follow. And honestly, this assessment, that's a whole nother podcast, I think.
Yeah.
We should
Well,
have to
yeah, that and access, all that stuff's different. So yes.
really.
Yes. But pretty much this kids with disabilities are supposed to be equal to I guess the gen ed, so they have their own standardized testing, which we could talk about, like Tattoo said, in another episode. 'Cause I think we both have our opinions on
Yeah.
the tests, the standardized tests they want to give these kids with disabilities, especially ones with severe disabilities. So we'll save our
Yeah,
opinions
it
for
makes no sense. It's a waste of time. Yeah, we'll go into that another
another
day for
time.
sure.
Yes, because I found some research about how not all states. I'm saying some states do it more practical, but there's some states that not so much. So okay, next one is the Americans with Disability Act, ADA. This act prohibits discrimination of individuals based on disability. So that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
so that's and we could read over that and go over that another time as well.
Yeah, it's what pretty much. So next one, this one's actually we both have some experience in. I think more you, but it's applied behavior analysis (ABA). So application of learning principles derived from operant conditioning using to increase or decrease specific behaviors.
Right. That's where I have a master's degree in ABA. But it is a very scientific and field, and it works. I've seen it work. However, the way the public school system utilizes it is not completely effective. The way that things are being done are not effective. Families and ABA professionals should be working together with the public school system. It should be everybody's working on the same page, and that's not happening. So, well, that is also another podcast.
We have a lot of podcasts in the works. We have lots of ideas, so it's all
Yes.
good. It's all good. So next one is we're not going to even I'll just go over, but what I'm talking about is aptitude test. It's a test which measures someone's capacity, capability, or talent for learning something. And so this
Yeah,
test,
so the psychological probably one of the evaluations the psychological psychs do.
yeah, test. So
Right.
assessment evaluation. This is done a lot with kids with disabilities. So it's assessment. So assessment evaluation. Assessment encompasses all those functions in the testing and diagnostic process. It may include observation, interviews, and testing methods to identify if a child has a disability, the severity of that condition, and the child's educational needs based on his or her learning profile.
Okay, and that should happen before your child gets an IEP. And that is not happening in some school districts. So it's being decided that a child should receive an IEP without all of these evaluations that really a parent needs to advocate to make sure that their child is receiving those evaluations. And so, therefore, that's another podcast. I
Yes.
just found my many basic terms today.
Yeah, it's crazy that things like this are going on. And that's why we're trying to bring light to this and try to get more parents to be advocates and learn more. So assisted technology, again, that's pretty straightforward. So the term assisted technology is the device means any item, piece of equipment, or product system which acquire commercially off-the-shelf, modified, or customized that is used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child with a disability. The term assisted technology service means any service that directly assists a child with a disability in the selection, acquisition, or use of assistive technology device.
Yes. Which is, also another probably whole conversation we could get into, but a lot student kids that are nonverbal and are able to use pictures and travel with them and are effectively using pictures to communicate, they should be receiving assistive technology devices.
Well, that could also be, it doesn't have to be technology exactly, but it has to be some type of, isn't it? No.
Well,
That's a different term. I think that's different. I probably got that confused. Probably a different term. Assisted.
Let's see, any item or piece of equipment or productive system when they require.
So it doesn't have to be like with batteries exactly. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
There's
adaptive communication devices. There's several terminologies that we could go over when we talk about like assistive technology. But yeah, picture communication is called, like adaptive communication or whatever. But if they're advanced in that area, then they're limited because with an assistive technology device, you can access more pictures. If they have a picture communication book and they only have just what's there, then their communication abilities are limited. So they need the device.
Yes, it's very hard to get that technology or to sign off on it a lot of times.
Right.
So either teachers have to spend their own money to try to do it, and even then they kind of have to keep it hidden because if district or the school finds out that they're using the tablet without the proper authorization, that could be a no-no. Even if the parents approve it, it's still is not hasn't been signed off by the therapist or district specialist.
Also, there's a lot of really great resources. Some very, very low cost resources that can be put on a phone or a tablet, like you said. So we can go into those things, adding, so that people have access to some of the resources available to them.
Yes. So next one is just one of the I guess disorders, attention deficient hyperactive disorder, ADHD disorder, characterized by symptoms of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So like kids who can't sit still and have trouble paying attention for a period of time.
Right.
So do autism spectrum disorder, ASD,
Sure.
a developmental disorder characterized by abnormal impaired development in social interaction and communication, restricted repertoire of activities and interests, and or repetitive patterns of behavior.
Well, real quick, can we go back to audiologists? Because I know you're trying to skip now, but there's something I think the parents need to know that in order for if you want a child to be evaluated for disability, they have a hearing and vision test before an evaluation can be even done. So, and then a lot of parents just like jump right in there and like, hey, I need my kid evaluated. But then the school throws back, well, you gotta go to get his vision and hearing tested, and then things get lost in the mix, and that doesn't happen, and so the evaluation never happened. So go get your kid vision and hearing tested. An audiologist. That's only if the hearing there's a problem with it, then you have to go further and see an audiologist. But
Yes. Well, usually because you want it at a young age too. As soon as you start seeing
yes,
any symptoms.
right.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to just we can so just do how about we just do the A's? We'll go do
Yeah.
autism, do ASD, and then we'll stop there for today.
Okay.
So like I said,
Um,
autism is this. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, you go.
It's
Wait,
it's a, you already read it. It's a neurological disorder. I
yeah.
think most people know what autism is.
Yes.
And there's several characteristics, that doctors look for. A lot of people are being diagnosed later in life with autism, because there's, like they say, a spectrum. And so mostly the kids that we're going to be talking about are kids that are on the real low end. Isn't there different like level 3 or something like that, or 4 or
Well,
5
they wait. I think there's three. I think they've changed this in the
levels?
past couple of years. They like there's like 3 levels, and I think level 3 is the more. So you're not really supposed to say severe autism anymore. I think it's more of a this discriminatory. I think it's become well, I guess in the community or not in the community or the what do you want to call it experts in the community. That level that they change level 1 to 3 now. So level 1's more like the kids who have autism. It's very like you wouldn't be able to tell that they have autism. And then goes up level 3's the like severe case. Like the ones that you and me are used to working with, the more
Right.
severe, physical, aggressive. So I think that's what they call levels. I think it's 1 through 3. But we'll
Yeah,
do
and
another podcast on that too.
yeah, for sure. Okay,
I'm
because
still learning that too.
I have experience with all the 3 levels, and there are many problems with the level 1 children that I think parents could use some resources for. So
I'll definitely think all 3 levels for sure. So thank you everyone for watching. If you're watching this afterwards, the chaos, we appreciate it, and we will get better. Don't worry. Let's take some practice. So take care.
okay.